Guys, welcome for a breaking news episode of the Michael Lenoci Show. Breaking news in Miami today. Obviously, you're all aware that earlier in the day, if you're watching this, it's yesterday, Jalen Ramsey got tangled up with Tyreek Hill, and he left, carted off the field. I think my first initial reaction, I was like, whoa. Was he carted off the field like the cart drove onto the field and he had to get on the cart? No. I heard he was walking around trying to walk it off. Then they had the cart come over, and then he was taken away. So my first initial reaction was like, okay, this could be minor. We don't have a torn ACL or anything like this. Let's not freak out. And every 30 to 40 minutes, we just kept getting worse and worse news. We find out it's a torn meniscus. I've actually had one before. Let's not freak out yet. We don't know what to call it. Okay? We don't know. As of right now, he's going to have surgery, and we will keep our fingers crossed. I think we will know more by the end of today. If you're watching this, maybe it's already broke. I don't know. This episode, I'm putting this out, first thing in the morning, Friday morning. So maybe we'll know by the end of the day. A positive situation would be they go there and they repair it, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks, right? What's 6 to 8 weeks? That's missing 2 to 3 games. It's a 17-game season. Not a big deal. I don't even care. The first 4 games are preseason anyways. No team is who they are after those first 4 games. All right? They really are kind of getting into a mode of figuring out who is what and who's going to be where and what plays work. So, yeah, obviously you don't want him to miss any games. But with a veteran like this isn't as serious as it could have been. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't get very serious. If they reported if they have to replace the meniscus, then we're looking at a 6-month injury. Now, again, how big of a deal is this? Let's all just calm down right now. We can't call it yet. Let's bring it back for a second. Let's just say Jalen Ramsey is out for the season, but he can come back like week 17. Let's say that. Fine. Having him there when it matters is all that counts. Look, Xavier Howard last year had a pretty mediocre year. But against the Buffalo Bills in that playoff game, he had a great game. He leveled up. What did we see in the NBA playoffs this year? More than ever, we saw a lot of people kind of just saving themselves during the season, a lot of late trades, helping basketball teams get late chemistry to make runs in the playoffs, and then all these players leveling up. I think you can't necessarily do that in the NFL because the games are so meaningful, right? You could start the season off 4-6, the first 10 games, and then finish 6-1. And you're making the playoffs. You finish 5-2, and you start off 5-5. You're making the playoffs. You see what I'm saying? We went 9-8 last year. We made the playoffs. You get to 10-7, you can make the playoffs. Start off slow. Clearly, this is something that you don't want, but I think the Dolphins' biggest holes were not at cornerback last year. When we signed Jalen Ramsey, I was like, okay, this is awesome. We added an upgrade to a position that I felt like we had depth at. Obviously, there were a lot of injuries last year, but Kodu came in. We found a cornerback. Yeah, we lost Byron Jones, but we found a young guy from the practice squad. We still have Nick Needham. And then we drafted a guy. Cam Smith, correct me if I'm wrong. So now we have all this depth, and then we added a cornerback who's better than Xavier Howard. So for me, I'm like, oh, this is just extra sprinkles on the cake. Like, losing him doesn't affect the way I think this team is going to perform anyways. It was just going to make us a lot better. But this isn't a thing that we should be depressed about. This isn't Tua. This isn't Tyreek or Waddle. You lose Tua or Tyreek or Waddle, that's the season. That's the season. You lose any defensive player, I'm not as worried because of how the group is so talented and they rely on the scheme. And we have one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. So, yeah, it sucks that we're losing Jalen Ramsey for what could be only the first few games, which is fine. It's not even that big of a deal. If the injury bug is going to hit Miami and go, hey, we're giving it to your best player, but he only misses 3 games, I'll take it. Way better than last year losing 4 corners before week 8. You know what I mean? So I'll take it. Now, if he's out for the whole year, bummer. But if he could come back for the playoffs, which we all expect to make, then what does it matter? As long as he's there for the playoff game, right? Can he be there for week 18 and 19? That's 6 months away. Will he be there in January? We're in July still. Realistically, make the playoffs, he's there, and that's when you need him, is what I'm trying to say, with a more positive outlook on the situation. But most of all, he is not what made us this contender of a team. Nobody was sitting there going, well, the Dolphins are a contender. That we have in all these sports shows, these preseason rankings, we're in the top 7, 8. It's not because of Jalen Ramsey. It's not. It's because of the second-year offense with Tua and Tyreek and Waddle and the explosiveness. And it's Vic Fangio with Chubb and Jalen Phillips coming out, and Christian Wilkins and how he played, and Javon Holland. Adding Jalen Ramsey was just like, Jesus Christ, this defense is stacked. But it's not why the Dolphins are contenders. So, yes, it's unfortunate, but it's not a reason to get depressed. Okay? We can't call it yet. What if he does miss a few games and all of a sudden the rookie we drafted is playing as good as Sauce Gardner, is a rookie of the year candidate? Then it's a blessing in disguise now, isn't it? Then it's like, oh, cool. We get to move on from Jalen or Xavier Howard in the next couple of years. We don't have to have so much money in that area of our team, which has a lot of our money right now, and we could put it into, I don't know, the offensive line. How about that? This could be a blessing. You have no idea. Not to mention, I'm excited for Brandon Jones to get back in there. Nick Needham. And Kodu, his second year. Second year in the league. A little hungry pit bull. Came off of the practice squad. Gonna get more playing time. I don't think Jalen Ramsey is going to be the reason we lose a game. If I have to be quite frank with you guys, I don't think we're going to lose because we didn't have Jalen Ramsey. Now, is it going to be, are we going to miss him? Sure. Definitely against the Chargers, who have a great wide receiving core. Buffalo, I think it's a little doable without. I don't think their wide receiver core is as good. Who else do we have the first game this year? The Patriots? Are you that scared of them? I think we got Ramsey because Ramsey's there to match up against some of these teams like in the playoffs. When you have to face 2 to 3 wide receivers, teams that have to go up against Aaron Rodgers and his wide receivers. I don't know. Stephon Diggs, sure. We got Xavier Howard though. All I'm saying is we don't know what this is yet. We can't call it. No reason to panic, Dolphin fans. No reason to panic. Yes, it's Jalen Ramsey. But Jalen Ramsey is not the reason we are Super Bowl contenders. He's not the reason we are contenders. He is just been added for veteran leadership. But we don't know how this turns out. That's all I kind of want to put out there. I want everyone to just kind of relax. We still don't know all the news. It's a blow. I'm going to be honest. It's a blow. I definitely feel a little sad. I'm like, all right. I knew injuries were going to happen. I think it takes time for people to get into football shape. Joe Burrow goes down today. We don't know how bad that is. I mean, thank God that, listen, as someone who wants the Dolphins to succeed and then knows that they have to go through Cincinnati or Kansas City or Buffalo, I don't wish that upon any organization. Like, I like Burrow. I hope he's not hurt. I want to win because Tua's great. That's why. I don't want to win because Jalen Ramsey shut down a wide receiver. If we win a playoff game, if we win the division, if we win 12 games, I want it to be because Tua's a Pro Bowler. Because Tyreek almost got 2,000 yards. Sure, our defense was great. But that's not why we're going to be great. That's not why we're going to win a lot of games. That's not why we're going to win a playoff game. Not because of Jalen Ramsey. This isn't the end of the year for us. This isn't a panic injury. It's an unfortunate injury, but it's no reason for us to be depressed and going crazy on Dolphins Twitter. This is not the reason at all. Because I was actually shocked when we got Jalen Ramsey. I didn't think it was a necessary move. I thought that we had an above average secondary and Xavier Howard just needed to play better than he did last year. And we needed to stay healthy. And we drafted a rookie too as well, which was kind of weird when we brought in Jalen Ramsey. But the reason we did was because the cornerback is such an important position. We expected injuries. So here we are. And now we don't know how long it will be. Maybe it's a couple games, hopefully. But this isn't a reason to panic. There's 4 guys on the team that if they got hurt, you panic. Tua, Teron Armstead, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. Those are the 4 most important players we have on the team right now. Defense wins championships. Sure. But a defensive team is a unit. There's not a middle linebacker running the defense like Ray Lewis anymore. You got to have a lot of good cornerbacks that are coached well. It's not just one superstar cornerback like a quarterback. A quarterback has to be good. A quarterback has to be a top 10 quarterback to win a Super Bowl. You do not have to have a top 10 cornerback to win a Super Bowl. You just have to have a great coach, a great defensive scheme, and cornerbacks who are coached well that can play tough. But this isn't going to be what stops us. You lose Bradley Chubb, maybe it's a big loss. You lose Christian Wilkins, a bigger loss. I think those 2 are more valuable defensive players than Jalen Ramsey. He came in and he was added to this unit. He's not a reason for us to panic. It's unfortunate, yes. But let's break it down and let's calm down and realize everything's going to be fine. If we're going to have to get an injury on this team, then let it be like this. I'd rather it be him than any of our offensive players. Okay? That's all I'm saying. Sure, we would like nobody to get injured. Every team's going to deal with this. In the next 3 weeks, there's going to be a lot more. In the next 3 weeks, mark my word, there's going to be a tragedy. Maybe not with us. I'm saying there's going to be someone out there, and it's going to be so sad. You're going to be, oh, no. This happens every year. Let's remind ourselves. This is football season. It starts off exciting and quickly gets depressing because it hurts the expectations that we have created for our teams. And then we find out by week 4 what our team is. And then you pray that they can make a run in the opposite direction if it doesn't go the way you want. But there's going to be other injuries like this. I hope not. And I hope Burrow's okay. But you got to bet there's going to be another quarterback injury. There is every year. You got to bet there's going to be a running back injury. There's going to be some other injuries too with the Dolphins. It's just the way the business is. And you go in expecting it's not going to happen, but it did. And it happened to the most famous player on the team. Arguably one of the most famous players. My whole thing is I've had a few hours to sit back and take it all in, and we can't call it yet. Now, if we start off the first 4 or 5 weeks and we're 3-2, and a big reason that we're losing some of these games is because of we're getting burnt on the outside, then it stings. But I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think we're going to lose games because we're getting burnt by their number 2 wide receiver, because Howard's going to be covering the number 1 now, whereas before Howard was going to be covering the number 2. I don't think that's why we're going to lose. I think if we lose, it's because of the performance of Tua. He is still the main focus of where we go this season. Assuming he stays healthy, if we're going to be good, it's because Tua plays great. Okay? There's no, Tua gets to play mediocre and our defense wins the game. That's just not how the league is anymore. Sure, it can happen here and there, but our main focus is the offense. And I just want to kind of let everyone know, let's cool off a little bit. It's unfortunate, but this ain't the end of the world. We're still a team that is favored to go deep in the playoffs. I saw some tweets of people like, Dolphins season over. Like, what? What are you talking about? It's a cornerback that we added late who's a superstar that wasn't a need. This was not a need. We weren't bad. Our defense wasn't horrible without him. Yeah, they underperformed last year because of the scheme and we lost Flores. But this isn't why we're contenders. You lose Tyreek Hill tomorrow? Yeah, I'm worried. He stretches the offense. He's everything we did last year. Let's relax. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you think I'm crazy. Let me know if you think I'm delusional. I want to hear from you guys. You tell me. Comment. And, I'll see you next week for episode 6 when we get back in town. And we'll have more news. But like, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.